Alright, we're doing a video reloading series, starting with how to set up your press to resize and deprime a case. Okay.
First thing is, this is the shell holder. And you slot the shell holder in the ram, make sure it's all the way in there. You need that to hold your shells while you're doing the next step, which is we're going to size the cases. And this is a tungsten die. And what that means is it has a tungsten carbide insert, which is the second hardest material known to man. And with a tungsten die, you do not have to lubricate the cases. That's one of the advantages. Plus, it'll last forever if you take decent care of it.
Well, how do you know how far to set the die down?
Good question. Well, we set the die down. If you want to size it, you set it down to it just touches the shell holder. You make sure you have your handle down, it touches the shell holder, and then you can put your lock ring in. And as long as you're using the same press, you can lock it there.
Okay, now you said we're resizing 38 and 357. They're two different size calibers, right?
That is true. They're the same caliber. 357 is a longer case, but this die will size either one of them. So you just put your case there, make sure it's all the way in the shell holder, and you break it down, make sure it starts, and you just do that. Your case is sized. Also, it's decapped. You're knocking the old primer out. You have to size the case, otherwise the bullet won't stay in there. The case is, when it's fired, it expands, and the bullet is too small to fit in there. So you have to put it in here. There's not much effort, and you just size the case. And when you size it, you're going to have a little bit of feel, which is good. You want that feel. If it's too easy or if it's too hard, there's a problem. You need to find out why.
So basically it'll reload, or it'll resize and deprime longer cases and the shorter cases? Yes,
you can do either one with the same setting when you're sizing the case. You just put it in there and you just size it. And as I said, it knocks the primer out. It enables you to put a bullet in there that'll stay in there at a later step. And you just do how many ever you want at one sitting. And like I say, it's not hard, but if it's too easy, it probably means you got a split case. Because sometimes your cases will get splits down here after they're fired several times. Of course, you want to throw them away. If it's too hard, it could be you might have another case on the inside, a smaller case, or a stone or dirt or something like that. And if you try to size it, you're going to break your decapping assembly.
Are those easy to change if the pin breaks?
Yeah, they're easy to change. It's more of an annoyance. Of course, you know, if you have to buy the whole assembly, you're going to spend a few dollars. But you should always have a few spares just in case, because there's two types of people that load: the ones that are going to break a pin and the ones that already have. It happens to everybody.
Now, how many times can I run a case through and resize it and deprime it?
If you use normal ammunition, these cases will last you anywhere from 10 to 15 firings. And that's if you don't use excessive loads. If you use excessive loads, what happens is you will expand your primer pocket, which doesn't allow you to put a primer anymore. So that's what happens. You shouldn't really use excessive loads for target. Now, this is a 357 case, and you can see the difference in the length.
If one is taller than the other.
The 357 is about 0.12 longer than a 38 case. They'll both fire in a 357 revolver, and as you can see, there's no change. You just do the same thing. Now, it's important that when you do it, you separate the case, because your next step is what they call belling. You have to bell the case, and you can't have the same setting for both cases.
And we will cover that in the next series of the videos.
That will be the next series. We'll go into the priming and the belling, but the 38 just go one way, and the 357s, you just put them in a different pile if you're doing both at the same time.
Now, why aren't you lubricating those cases?
Well, with a tungsten die, it's not necessary. That's the nice thing about a tungsten die. They cost a few extra dollars, but they are worth it. You definitely want to get a tungsten die, particularly if you're doing the amount of loading. Any straight case, the 38, 357, 9mm, 40s, 45s, 45 Colts, all are available tungsten dies, and they are definitely worth the money.
Now, I noticed that some die sets are carbon and some are not. Like if I get a 45 long Colt, some are, the carbon dies and some are not. Why is that?
Well, the regular steel dies are a few dollars cheaper. And I suppose if you don't load very much, you can buy those. But if you do, you have to lubricate the case. If you don't, you'll scratch them up. And that's just an extra step and extra work. And for a few dollars extra, you're way better off buying the tungsten dies. And you can look in a die and you'll see a small insert in there. And most die makers make tungsten dies. So for the $4 or $5 extra that you're going to spend, it's a very, very good investment.
What's the average cost of a set of tungsten carbide dies?
They retail for around $45 to $50, depends on where you get them. Your steel dies are a few dollars cheaper, but like I say, it's not a particularly good investment.
And of course, we can't forget we need a caliber specific shell holder for each die set.
When you buy a set of dies, if you look on the box here, it tells you what size shell holder you need. It's very important that you use the right shell holder, because the case will flap around in there. You're going to have all sorts of problems. So you want to make sure that you have the correct shell holder to hold the case in so it lines up with the dies. And it's impossible to prime a case with the wrong shell holder. You just can't do it.
Alright, awesome. Well, thank you for that information. We'll have other series coming up shortly.